So I should definitely change my name to the word nerd. It's not currently being used, I don't think. But hey, I love the word, and I am a nerd, and I'm not ashamed, because right here it says in Romans, which is a great book. I guarantee you, if you read it, you won't regret it. You'll definitely be changed. But in Romans chapter 1, verse 16, for I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it is the power of God to salvation for everyone who believes. First for the Jew, for the Jew first, and also for the Greek. So, yeah, I mean, the power of God. I mean, it's like people go, oh, I just don't have the power to overcome sin. Then you need to be preaching the gospel, getting into the gospel, learning the gospel. It's the power of Christ. Sharing the gospel with other people. We may be timid. We may be afraid. We may be afraid to approach a total stranger. I'm not, but I'm also realizing that as an old man, I scare a lot of women when I come up and talk to them, but not all of them, though. I mean, the great thing about being here at my beach, I come up to total strangers mostly in the wintertime, and I just talk to them. They have a fantastic conversations. I remember this one old lady. It just made me think, there's still great people in the world. I've been living in a city too long, and out here at the beach, it's just a wonderful place. I was talking to her, and we had a wonderful conversation, and she wasn't afraid. I mean, so, you know, you're afraid of talking to other people. Remember, they're sometimes afraid of you too. So don't be afraid. Again, you don't have to always do it that way. There's other ways of teaching and preaching and proclaiming the gospel, because the gospel, what is the gospel? Well, I know it is Romans 10, verse 9, you know, for I am, or it says, if you confess your mouth that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you shall be saved. Hey, I just shared it. I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ. It is power. It is power for what? Well, I think it's power to overcome sin, overcome temptation. It's also power to overcome depression, all kinds of things. Look, I mean, when I first became a Christian when I was 15, I had some serious doubts of depression. And one time, I remember I overcame it through the Word of God, and it was amazing. And I remember one time I got the flu. I hardly ever got sick as a kid, which is a blessing in itself. But my friend said, "Oh, you got the flu," and I was like, well, "You're gonna be out for days." And I'm like, "No, I'm not." I went home. I drank some orange juice. I prayed. I said, "By His stripes, I am healed," and that the power of God healed me. And it's like, I know a lot of people are, it's not for the day. No. Healing is for today. It's not a magic trick. It's you know, God working through His servants. Are you serving Him? You might, I'm too afraid. Hey, how hard is it to pick up your camera and make a video and sharing the gospel and telling something from your past? You might get, people might make comments. Well, if it really bothers you, block them. I mean, I block people that are haters. I don't. But when you're blocking them, isn't it? No. Haters, they make their choices. Don't be ashamed. Don't be afraid. And look, preach it. What's the worst people are going to do? I mean, it depends on what country you're in. You might get killed for it, sure. If you're over in Afghanistan preaching the gospel, yeah, you're going to get decapitated probably. I mean, it's a rough world out there. And people say, oh, you know, we're so blessed in America. We are. And if we don't start standing up for the gospel of Jesus Christ, we're going to lose these blessings. It's already happening. I mean, we're seeing other countries that are arresting people for being, just praying, just for sharing the truth. I mean, there's a month coming up that people are going to be preaching for and against something. It's like, that's auxiliary to what's the truth. I mean, you can be a lot of things, and it's going to affect your faith. I mean, that's just the way it is. A lot of people have their pet peeve sins. Like, I used to hate smoking because I just couldn't stand the smell of it. Does that mean a smoker's going to go to hell faster than anybody else? No. I mean, they might get lung cancer faster, but you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, don't be ashamed. Stick to the gospel. Don't stick to these side issues. I definitely get on these side issues but not on my videos. I won't do it. I refuse. It's no, are you ashamed? No, I'm sticking to the gospel. So, hey, don't be ashamed of the gospel. Don't be ashamed to stand up for what's right. I know that, again, I'm so thankful that whenever I got saved, it was a summer of transition from one school to another. If I would have went back to my old school, I wonder now if I would have stuck to my guns or if I would have went back. Or I don't know. I really don't. I mean, because I know a lot of people who do. I really do. And then later on down the road, they start realizing how stupid mistakes they made. But I do believe that God had his hand in my life. Again, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, and look, you don't have to beat in their heads. If they reject it, I mean, move on, wipe the dust off your feet. But I just want to encourage you today that there's so many ways to reach out to people nowadays. When I was a kid, or when I first became a Christian, I shouldn't say I was a kid. I'm encouraging adults to do this, obviously. When I was first a Christian, we didn't have the internet. We didn't have any way other than just telling the people we talked to, worked with, saw every day, and then living it. I mean, because that's honestly what I think the power of salvation is for everyone who believes. It's the power to live it, because otherwise, you know, it's easy to give in and laugh at a dirty joke. I remember in the locker room, people would be telling dirty jokes. I'd be like, I wouldn't laugh. I mean, like, no, it's not funny. I wouldn't try to like, oh, you're going to hell. You know, I wouldn't do that either. I would just be like, whatever. You know, it's like, it's not funny. So, again, I encourage you at every stage of your life right now, when you got to stand up for the gospel. And it's easy. Just make a YouTube video. I implore you, if you're a Christian, make some YouTube videos. The funny thing is also, when I'm commenting on people's videos, and I try to do positive comments, try to agree with them. Although Seth Rogen or somebody the other day, he said some blasphemous things. Like, I am just shocked that he's such a blasphemer. I did not know he called Jesus a lot of horrible things. I was like, you know what? I'm going to block him. I'm going to make a little comment saying, hey, this is why I'm going to block you. Well, I don't know if I said I'm going to block you, but I blocked him. I haven't got any backlash from anybody on that one yet, which is interesting. But usually I would get comments from people that are like, well, you're wrong, blah, blah, blah. Just block them. You don't have to engage in a conversation with them. You can, most of the time, I will leave them the gospel and say, hey, I'm not into, you're so convinced. There's no way a total strangers are going to change your life. But there are people out there that are ready to accept the gospel. They're looking for something. You might think, well, how can I, a total stranger to everybody on the internet? There's people constantly searching for videos. They're looking for hope in this generation. They're looking for it. You might be that one voice that reaches them. They might watch your video because they see something on it that's interesting, or you might even do like little puppets. Like you might do something interesting. I'm Optimus Prime, and I'm here to tell you about Jesus Christ. You know, you might do something like that, which, that seems like I got finger puppets. I have this little alien finger puppet. Here he is. I could be like, for I am not ashamed of the gospel. You know, get creative. I mean, have some fun with it. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I'm going to take my own medicine. Yes. We are aliens and strangers, aren't we? Yes, we are aliens and strangers. So, yeah, get creative. I come up with some ideas sometimes, but I really want to figure out how to do AI to do it too. I mean, so, hey, if you're out there and you know how to use AI to make cartoons or comics or whatever, please contact me. I definitely want to get into that and I've got great ideas, but I need actors, since I don't have a lot of Christian friends that want to do this kind of stuff, acting and stuff, or, you know, whatever. And I don't want to be on a video camera, you know. I can definitely use something like AI to create, you know, little characters. You know, that'd be kind of fun. All right. Like Word Nerd. He's a recurring character on Fire by Night. I would love to do the further adventures of Word Nerd, like a cartoon series. Kind of like they did the Adventures of Batman back in the 70s. Well, anyway, again, just think about being on the internet, sharing the gospel. You might reach that one person that nobody else can. Maybe you're doing something flashy like little puppets like this, or you're doing AI, which would be fantastic. AI catches people's attention, like the Ben Shapiro thing, where I don't recommend watching it. It was, yeah. But the Ben Shapiro doing Dungeons and Dragons with Biden and all them, I mean, that catches a lot of people's eyes. You could do like Ben Shapiro getting saved, or I don't know. I'm just saying, like, you know, you can maybe do AI to do something like that. That would be so cool. I'm trying to figure it out myself. I've been downloading apps, but the apps keep on like, you know, free for this, then that's $56 a month. I'm like, I ain't got that kind of money. So if you got any free AI tips for me, let me know. Thanks.